What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It is 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn from Brass Ring Media and Sports Illustrated. It's great to be here, and thank you guys so much for joining me. We do this show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday right around this time, 11 a.m. Eastern, for you. And we talk the news of the day in pro wrestling. We talk big shows. We talk all sorts of stuff, but give you your little, your fix of professional wrestling every single day in little like snackable doses. You know, this isn't a 3-hour podcast. It's 20 minutes. It's 25 minutes, but it gets you your fix of pro wrestling discussion each and every single day. And I'm pumped to be here. If you're watching and listening on YouTube, hello. We are streaming live here on the One True Sport YouTube channel. If you are on Twitter, hello. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you guys being here. Please subscribe to One True Sport on YouTube. We've got all sorts of content that drops all throughout the week from some of the biggest stars in professional wrestling. That's Rob Van Dam, Arn Anderson, and many others. Also, Brass Ring Media is now integrated as a One True Sport partner. All of the Brass Ring Media live YouTube shows are streaming from the One True Sport YouTube channel. So you get all of those shows that my team does right here on One True Sport. So hit subscribe. You can also subscribe to Brass Ring Media. That'd be great if you could do that. We have a YouTube channel. We also have a Substack newsletter. If you want high-level written content, I think you'll enjoy what we do in our newsletter. So please subscribe there. It's on Substack. Just search Brass Ring Media Substack, and it'll be the first thing that comes up. More on Brass Ring Media in a little bit. I want to say hello to everybody who's joining me in the chat today. The boss is in there. The boss says, hey, Detroit, your spot on the couch is waiting. Penta stole the show last night. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Penta here, a lot, because I think it was a really good premiere for him, really good debut, and a risky one. So looking forward to breaking this down with you. Sean, what's up, Sean? Sean says, what's up, Zach? Fun Raw last night. They made Penta feel big time important. Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. And that was probably the best part of it is, you know, you got this new star who felt like a new star. And you know, WWE doesn't always hit home runs with that. AEW certainly doesn't hit home runs with that. So it was nice to see them pull that off. But Sean, thanks so much for joining the show. Same with you, boss. E's in there. E says, what's up? So since you had time to marinate, do you think they should have done a quick match or or do you want to change what your tweets thought last night? Yeah, I'm going to address this, E, because I did have a bit of a eat crow moment yesterday during Raw. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as you can see, guys, the live chat's open. We've got people filing in right now. So if you want to make a comment or you want to ask a question or you want to make sure that we discuss a topic, drop it into the live chat. I'll do my best to manage this as the show goes on. Also, super chats are open. And if you want to make sure to get your question answered or your comment read live on the air, just drop it in there. It helps the show. It helps me. It helps 1TS Daily. It helps One True Sport and Brass Ring Media. So thank you in advance if you're able to do that. Any contribution amount certainly helps. Okay, so let's start with Penta. As Michael Cole said, it was the worst kept secret in wrestling that Penta was going to be the guy that was going to make his debut and challenge Chad Gable as the best luchador that Adam Pearce could find. That's what the storyline was. Not a surprise at all. I mean, WWE put out merchandise like yesterday morning, so you knew it was going to be Penta. And by the way, that merchandise is cool. I think Penta, regardless of what happens to him from a booking perspective or whatever, what championships he wins or whatever, that guy's going to make a lot of merch money because that merch was cool. They have his face on a white shirt with in the color of the mask that he wore yesterday, and it just looks cool. It's bold. The colors are really bold. It just is a cool shirt. Then of course they have the mask, which is going to be a hot commodity. So yeah, he's going to get some nice merchandise checks to be sure. But the debut, It was really good. It was really good on multiple levels. From a presentation standpoint, the commentary team talked about him like he was already a big deal. This wasn't, um, a new star coming into WWE, trying to find his footing or unsure. They presented him as a top wrestling luchador star that the WWE had acquired. And then they treated him as such. He had a big entrance, he had new music, lights went out, he had the pyro behind him. All of that together, paints the picture of the star you're presenting. And if he just would have just walked out there and, no commentary or, boy, we really don't know what Penta is or what he brings to the table, like that would have hurt him. But instead, you had Michael Cole talking about his TNA or Impact Wrestling championships. You had them mention Lucha Underground. I mean, who had that on your WWE commentary bingo card? Like, it just, that kind of thing doesn't happen in WWE, or not usually. And they used that to their advantage here, because I think by the time he got into the ring and by the time he was able to, showcase what he could do in the ring, half the battle was already won within the presentation. Now, the in-ring, what I said that last night on Twitter, and this was like, and by the way, you can follow me on social media at Zack_Heydorn. I live tweet most of the big wrestling shows, sometimes after the fact, but a lot of times live, especially for Raw and Dynamite. I'm live on those for sure. So follow me there at Zack_Heydorn on Twitter, and then at Zack Heydorn at Blue Sky. I do a lot of time on Blue Sky these days because of circumstances, and and so check me out on both those. I'd love to have you follow along during live wrestling shows. So anyway, I said on Twitter, probably 2, 3, 4 minutes into the match, that they probably should have gone the squash route with Penta. And by that I meant he comes in, Gable gets some quick offense on him, but then, Penta does his thing. He hits his cool moves, he hits his dive, he hits the Mexican Destroyer move, pin. That's that. There's value in a debut match like that. Now, and the value, and let me just say something. The value there is you define him as just like an unstoppable force right out of the gate. You don't define him down. He beats Chad Gable like that. That's one avenue you can go with a debut match. The other avenue is what they did, which is a longer showcase match where you see all the pieces of Penta. You get to see the cool moves. You get to see why he's regarded as a good in-ring pro wrestler. You get to see the character. You get to feel sympathy. You get all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that if it's done the right way. This was done the right way in the end. By the end of the match, you had an audience that was invested in Penta the whole journey, cheering for him to come up from behind, cheering for the big moves, getting behind him as a character and as a star. You wouldn't have you don't get that when you do a kind of a regular quick squash debut. You get other things. You get just an immediate, wow, this guy's awesome. This guy's a badass. He wins matches. You get that, but you don't have the chance to build a connection with your audience. And that's what Penta did. And I think when I look back on it, I was wrong initially. And I said this online last night. I was wrong to, not wait and see how the approach was going to work, whether or not the approach was going to work. Because look, Penta, one of the things that he has going for him and that he's always had going for him is his charisma, his ability to connect with that audience, with his body language and his mannerisms. I love during his entrance when he does that slow little kind of walk down the ramp. It's just such a cool and unique thing, and he has like an it factor. And looking back at how the match went, I don't know that you'd be able to get that across unless you gave him a bigger canvas to paint on. Like I think he needed that time to showcase what he was and what he is, and they did it. So it's risky. It's risky because if you don't deliver, if like that's the plan, and you don't deliver, then you have a situation where you really just have like a flat debut, which is not what you want. So it's a risky move. As opposed to just like a simple squash match. But in this instance, like both Penta and Chad Gable, like, you got to credit Chad Gable too. Gable knew the mission at hand, and like he was there for it and was a professional. The way he sold the Mexican Destroyer was amazing. Just such a cool bump on his part that made Penta look really, really cool. And so that there's no question that this worked out. Risky, yes, but it worked out in the end. What's the upside for Penta? I don't know at this point. I mean, I definitely think that Penta is certainly like an IC title challenger, but I mean, can you get matches out of him and Gunther? I don't know. I mean, maybe if he keeps, the momentum going, but like think of all like the good like if you like matches, if that's your fix, you've got Penta against Sami Zayn, Penta against Gunther, Penta against Seth Rollins, Penta against Rey Mysterio, Penta against Finn Balor. I mean, there's so many matches for him to have on Raw that seem really fresh and really cool. And so I think that he's good for WWE right now. Let's get to the chat and talk a little bit about some of this stuff. Tony says here, Penta gave a one-finger salute to Tony Khan when he said WWE is my new home. Yeah, it did seem like there was so Penta cut a promo at the end of his match. You don't get that too often in WWE. It was in English, some of it was in Spanish. I thought it was a really good promo, and Sean here agrees in the live chat. Sean says the promo at the end was very fun and genuine too. Did Pat say they are glad to have him? If they did, just a great touch. The promo was genuine. It was authentic. Like, I don't know if it was, a middle finger to Tony Khan. It doesn't matter at that point. What you needed it to be was authentic and genuine, and that's what it was. He spoke from the heart. It's crazy. You hear him speak, and he was good there. I mean, yes, he spoke a lot of it in Spanish, but that's okay. Netflix is a global platform. So, I don't think it matters as much when you do that on Netflix as opposed to the USA Network. But he was genuine. To me, he looked like a guy that was ready and like in the moment to take advantage of this next big step in his career. Like he looked ready for it and delivered as such. So if you can't tell, I'm very high on this debut. And so as Sean says here, it was just cool seeing him in WWE. Yeah, it was. Matthew's in the chat. Penta. It was it was really good. It was really good. It was really good. It was strong. It was on the high end of debuts, for WWE stars. And look, WWE's been trying to, cultivate, whatever the next Rey Mysterio for a long time, whether it's Sin Cara or whether it's Andrade or whether it was Dragon Lee most recently, and they haven't, been able to do it. You have to give it juice and consistent juice in terms of booking. No, they never gave those talents that. Sin Cara, no. Andrade, no. Dragon Lee, no. I think they got something here. So we'll have to check it out and see. But yeah, a good night at the office for Penta and a good night at the office for WWE. It sounds like everybody in the chat, kind of agrees on that front. Also, last night, we crowned a first ever women's Intercontinental Champion. Lyra Valkyria is the first ever champion. I went out on a limb and picked Dakota Kai yesterday, and as we previewed the show right here on 1TS Daily, mainly because I just think she had the connection with the crowd. Like, to me, that's what, that matters a lot. And, I think when you have that, you're innately in a better position than your counterparts. Lyra Valkyria doesn't have that. What she does have, though, is the support of people backstage. I mean, this is clear. She got called up quick to the main roster. She was pushed heavily, early on. Didn't really take. So when you see her now as Intercontinental Champion, it makes sense. They're going to use this to try to elevate her. And I think slowly but surely it's working. Her entrance is working and clicking a little bit better. I think she needs to figure out the bird stuff and the raven stuff or whatever it is. Like, it just kind of seems like she's just dressing up and it doesn't mean anything. I would fix that. But the Intercontinental Championship and being the first woman ever to hold that is just, to me, like, something that she's going to be able to like speak to and plant her flag on for a long time. And I think if she's a fighting champion, like as a babyface, I think she's going to be able to get that over. So we'll see. I don't think they had a bad, either way they went here. I don't think it'd be bad. I had to pick somebody yesterday. E in the chat here is giving me a little bit of a hard time. Ouch, E. Dang, you was wrong 2 times. Did you bet any money on Raw yesterday? If not, that's good. No, I did not bet any money on Raw last night. Yeah, I saved myself some coin doing that. Sean says here, Lyra is just missing something. Get the most out of Dakota while you can. Sean also says here, Lyra versus Dakota was really good. I'm a fan of Lyra, but Dakota really needed something, and I really think she needed that title. I just don't think they're going to go with her. Like, I think that the way this was booked out tells you that unless there's some huge groundswell of support for Dakota Kai, like, I just don't think they're going to go with her. They've had a lot of chances to do it, and they haven't done it. So, yeah, Sean, I just to me this was pretty telling in terms of just what they think of Dakota Kai, and for better or worse. Now, again, if she gets a groundswell of support and she gets over on her own, then certainly I think Triple H and company will pivot that direction. But she's not a priority at the moment, it seems. But again, I do think Lyra is a fine choice. I think you agree with that too. It's not that she's a bad choice. It's just that Dakota might have been better because of that connection with the audience. But I think Lyra needed something, or Lyra is missing something. The IC title is that something in WWE's eyes. I think they think, okay, we're going to put this title on her. We're giving her something now, and she can run with it. My counterpoint to that is, doesn't always work. When you have the championship trying to make somebody, rather than the somebody trying to make the championship, it just doesn't. It doesn't usually work that way, but it can. Tony in the chat goes, Lyra Valkyria was an awesome NXT Women's Champion, and as much as I really wanted Dakota to win, I'm still proud of the Bird Lady winning the first Women's IC title. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. She's a good hand that needs some help getting over, and we'll see if the IC title can do it. How about the Men's Royal Rumble match? I mean, that match, I got to give props to WWE for how they've been constructing the Men's Royal Rumble match. And hopefully the Women's Royal Rumble match, by the way, gets the same type of attention, because the Men's Royal Rumble match has been really well built up until this point. The talent pool in that match is stocked right now. Roman Reigns, John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. I mean, that's 5 of your top WWE stars on the men's side of things that are in that match. And Punk, Seth, and Drew all declared for the match yesterday. And sidebar, I thought the Punk-Seth segment was really good and effective. Punk continues to be more comfortable on the microphone. I think he's finding his footing a little bit. But Seth really, Seth owning the loss the way that he did and, telling Punk face to face, man, that was the worst loss of my career. That matters so much in WWE canon. To talk about a loss that way, it shines a light on how important winning and losing is in WWE. So, yeah, it puts over the loss and shines some light on that, but it also puts over winning and how much winning means and how much winning matters. And I thought Seth just kind of owning that and talking about his loss that way was really effective for him as a character, but also, of course, the storyline. But back to the Royal Rumble. Now you've got all these top talent in there, but you also, what they've done is they've given each of these top guys, or top-ish guys even, a narrative where winning makes sense. You can see why and how Punk could win this match. You can also see how he would lose. Same thing with Seth, same thing with Drew, same thing with Roman, same thing with Cena. They all have their own little kind of stories and reasons for winning, and you can look at that and go, yeah, that makes sense. He really could win, or man, well, Cena really could win. And so, that's such a, you think on the surface, okay, well, obviously they're going to do that, but they don't. Habitually, WWE has had really one person that really could win the Royal Rumble each year, and it takes the drama out of it, when they've done that. And here you've got a totally different story. Even Sami Zayn, yesterday on Raw, you have a little backstage encounter with Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn, and Seth tells Sami, hey, look, you helped Roman again. When are you going to help yourself? To me, that's an avenue to Sami Zayn tossing his name in the hat for the Royal Rumble and cutting a promo about what's important to him about it and why he wants to win it so he can go to WrestleMania. That's just another person. So they're planting all these seeds around where there's going to be intrigue about who the men's Royal Rumble winner is going to be. And what makes that picture even more fun is that you can't predict at this point, what WrestleMania matches there's going to be. It's really up in the air. Who does Roman face? It's not going to be Cody probably. So is he going to win the Royal Rumble? Probably not. John Cena, I still think is a top contender. You could do that. Does he face Cody or does he face Gunther? Don't know. Is CM Punk going to win it? If he does, who does he face? There's so many things to consider. And so I think they've done a really nice job of building it. And that opening segment on Raw with Punk and Drew and Seth helps set the table for that. On this topic, Sean says, so much talent, have no idea who wins this year, which is great. The next 2 weeks of Raw definitely need to give the Women's Rumble some shine. Absolutely. And it's worth saying. And so thank you for calling it out even more, Sean. For as good as the men's build has been, the women's build has been equally as bad. They haven't touched on any of it. And so they really need to do a better job. That's going to be an hour-long match plus on the pay-per-view. So you gotta give it something. You gotta give it something and something significant. It should have the same treatment as the men's match is getting. Good call, Sean. Anthony says here, with WWE's history of changing roster names so that they can control it, are you surprised they didn't change the name for Penta before he debuted last night? Now, I don't know. This is a good question. I don't know what the trademarked name Penta had for AEW, because he kind of went by some different names. Penta El Zero Miedo, Pentagon Jr., all sorts of stuff. So I don't know what name they have trademarked, but WWE doesn't miss on this kind of thing. So if Penta, was available, like they're going to go with that. I think that's what people know him by, and clearly they were able to get the rights to that, and it's the right move because people do know him by that. Good question, Anthony. Thanks for joining the show. Christopher Leclerc says happy 24th birthday to NXT star Cora Jade. All right, happy birthday, Cora Jade. E, who do you think wins the Royal Rumble? John Cena. I'm on record with that one. I think Cena wins. I think it just gives him the most opportunity. Like, you could have him face Gunther. You can have him face Cody Rhodes. Either one is fine. I think he gives you the most potential from what you can do with a victory. So that's what I'll take. Now, I realize Elimination Chamber is right after, and he's booked for that event. So, I get that maybe he won't win, but it seems to me like that's where things are. That's where things are tracking. Sean says, Zach, I hope you're wrong. Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope I'm wrong too, but I think I'm right. Sean. I think I'm right. Anthony is back in here. Says here, what I think happens is whoever wins the Royal Rumble is going to challenge Cody for the title at WrestleMania, and the winner of the Elimination Chamber is going to challenge Gunther at WrestleMania. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But the thing is, like, who challenges Gunther then? Like, if Cena wins the Royal Rumble, let's say, and he challenges Cody, then who does Roman Reigns face? Like, Roman Reigns isn't going to face Gunther, I don't think. Like, that doesn't seem like a WrestleMania match at this point. I don't know. But that's the fun part. That's why they've got a lot of balls in the air, and that's why it's going to be intriguing to watch this thing play out the way that it, in whatever way that it does. All right, that's the highlights of Raw. Shout out to Rhea Ripley for the promo. She's really over, you guys. I mean, she could literally do anything she wants. I'm not thrilled about a Rhea Ripley Nia Jax feud again, but Ripley, I mean, it's undeniable. She's one of the most over stars that they have. Speaking of over stars, you got a world championship match set for Saturday night's main event on January 25th. You've got Jey Uso challenging Gunther after their in-ring segment on Raw this week. The underdog against the big bag heel champion is going to work just fine there. And I don't know. We've kind of seen this match before. I hope they get a lot of time. I hope they can do more than they've done in the past. But we know Gunther's going to win this one. So, sorry about you, Jay. All right, let's do a quick run through of tonight's episode of NXT, and then we will ride off into the sunset. Nathan Frazier and Axiom is going to face OTM for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Stephanie Vaquer will face Shotzi, and the winner gets a shot at the NXT Women's North American Championship. And then Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson will face Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. The winner of that gets a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. So pretty big night. My guess is you'll also hear from Obafemi. You'll also hear from Julia, the two new champions in WWE or in NXT, excuse me. So, it's going to be a big night on the show. We'll run through it, the results tomorrow, right here on 1TS Daily. Quick last minute news note here. Corey Graves is up to something on social media. He kind of slams WWE in a social media post after kind of being demoted to commentary on the NXT squad, on the NXT squad. So this is what Corey Graves said. He said here, I'm going to pull this up so I don't get it wrong. Corey Graves wrote on Twitter, and this was yesterday night. He said, imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty effing awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Just in case you've wondered where I've been. So Corey Graves not happy with the old day job. Clearly he's referencing being kind of not on the Netflix show. It's a tough situation, no matter what angle you take it from. I mean, on one side of the coin is if Netflix is paying you $5 billion, they don't want Corey Graves on the show. Corey Graves is not going to be on the show. They've got a lot of power in that regard. They're paying a lot of money. Even if Triple H thinks that Corey Graves is the best announcer in the history of wrestling announcing, he's not. But even if he thought that he was, if Netflix is going to come down with that kind of, dictate, so be it. That is the tough part of business. Plus, Pat McAfee's the guy that's been put on there. I don't think Pat McAfee does a lot for the product, but he's a name. I mean, he's a popular name in pop culture right now, in sports culture right now, in the streaming world culture right now. So it just makes sense. So it's got to sting for Corey Graves. Like I get that, but I also get where WWE is coming from, and I think Corey Graves is a good announcer. I would guess that he gets an opportunity back on the main roster sometime soon. My 2 cents. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for an awesome show. Check out more of our work at Brass Ring Media. Subscribe to our Brass Ring Media YouTube channel. Check out our Brass Ring Media newsletter on Substack. And also we offer Brass Ring Media membership, and that's specific member-only content on Patreon for our Brass Ring Media members. And we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you guys. If you listen to the show and you like this show, come see what we're all about. It's only $4 a month. I think you'll really enjoy what we do and the work that we do. So check it out. Patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here. 1TS Daily live at One True Sport. I'm Zack Heydorn. Talk to y'all real soon.